Organic forms with contour lines. Here we're going to tackle contour lines, a technique that you will carry with you for a long time to come, both as a constructional technique to help you better understand how the forms you draw sit in 3D space and how their surfaces curve and distort, as well as a technique to help convey those concepts to your audience in your final designs and illustrations. So we're going to start out with a simple sausage form. It's basically like two balls connected by a tube with consistent width. Don't make this form more complex than this. I don't want to see any branching or tapering, swelling through its midsection. Making it more complicated is only going to draw your attention away from the focus of this exercise. On top of that, sausage forms are extremely useful, especially later in the animals lesson. So there's your sausage, your ideal sausage. Students have regularly missed what I stated in the previous stage, so let's go through this again. Keep your sausages simple. The formula you want to match is two equally sized spheres connected by a tube of consistent width. Avoid ends of different sizes, roundness on the ends that stretches farther than the size of the sphere, midsections that swell or pinch, or completely arbitrary organic shapes. They will come into play in future, or sorry, bleh. This will come into play in future lessons, especially as we use these as one of the basic forms of organic construction. So, I guess we just reiterate, don't make these shapes. So, draw a line through the center of this form. Try your best to keep it centered but even, oh god, what's wrong with me? Try your best to keep it centered, but even if you miss it, that's okay. This line will represent the minor axes of the contour ellipses we're going to add next, though you can think of it like this form's spine. Now, place a series of ellipses along this spine. Align their minor axes to it. If the spine is not entirely centered, you'll have to try and align them to where the spine would have been. Having a line there to begin with actually helps with this, but don't adhere to it too closely if it's not actually centered. When drawing your ellipses, be mindful of each one's degree. If you remember from lesson 1, this is the width of an ellipse. As you pick a different position along the length of that sausage form, the orientation of the cross-sectional slice is going to be a little bit different relative to the viewer's angle, resulting in a slightly different degree. In the homework assignment for the first part of lesson 2, I asked for 2 pages of organic forms, one with contour ellipses. That's what this depicts. For the contour curves, look at the next section instead. So you can see as we go down the spine, the degree of the ellipsis turns away from the viewer. So a full circle would indicate 90 degrees towards the viewer, and a flatter, more narrow ellipse would be closer to 0 degrees or turned away. Okay. Now, for the other page of the homework assignment, instead of drawing full ellipses, I want you to draw only the section of the ellipse that will be visible. This is going to be a curving line whose curvature accelerates as it reaches the edge just before it hooks around and continues along the other side. You can see in this image that I overshot my curve slightly as they hook around, so we can see a little bit of how it continue along the other side. I'd like you to do the same, as this is going to get you accustomed to how to achieve this kind of curvature. If you look at the very end, towards the bottom right of the sausage in this image, you'll see a little contour ellipse there. We can see the entirety of this ellipse because it's facing towards us. This also happens to serve as a very effective visual cue. So you want to try to keep your curve snug against the organic shape. And these contour lines wrap around a rounded form So as they reach the end, they should accelerate and hook back around. And don't draw them like this in the bottom left. Okay. The purpose of this exercise. Contour lines themselves are something we're going to use a great deal throughout our later lessons, as it'll help us to better understand how these forms that we're drawing exist in 3D space, and how they relate to one another. They'll also help us to reinforce the illusion that they're solid and three-dimensional. One important thing to keep in mind, however, is that you don't want to get in the habit of simply dropping a bunch of contour lines on something for no reason. In this exercise, it's not really an issue because we're simply practicing their use. When using them in actual drawings, I frequently see students draw far too many without any real consideration of what each individual one is meant to accomplish. So before you draw a contour line as part of a construction, or really before you draw any line, think about what it is meant to accomplish as part of your drawing. If it isn't going to be contributing much, or if that task can be done better with a different mark, or is already being accomplished by another, don't draw it. Otherwise, draw it using the ghosting method. Plan it out, take your time, and execute it with confidence. Mistake. Curving, ellipses, floating, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? Curves or ellipses floating arbitrarily. As the contour line illusion is based around the idea that these lines run along the surface of any given form, it's pretty important that you strive to keep these contour ellipses and curves snugly pinched between the edges of the organic form. This won't always be easy, but there's definitely a visible difference between someone making an attempt to achieve that and someone for whom it is not a significant priority. Be the former. I have this image. So don't do these. Another mistake. Degrees all the same. As mentioned in the instructions for the exercise, give your ellipses a bit of a shift in their degree as you run through the length of the form. The reason for this is explained in a little exaggerated red doodle. When you have an object held in front of you and you take 3 parallel slices of it, your viewing angle for each slice is going to be different. If it's dead center in front of you, you're not going to be able to see any of its face, just its edge. If it's off to the side, you'll see a little more of it. Now, because of the size of sausage, why can't I read today? Now, because the size of sausage form is actually quite small, the shift isn't going to be significant unless the form itself is bending, which it may well be. All the same, you're not going to end up in a situation where the degrees are all the same, at least not unless it's bending backwards in just the perfect amount, but we're not going to get into that. So you can see in this sausage illustration that all these degrees are nearly identical. And that's not good. That's not what we're doing. Here's another mistake. Curves too shallow and don't hook around. In the instructions for the lesson, I mentioned that when drawing contour curves, you should try to overshoot them just a little bit. This doesn't mean have them fall outside of the form, but rather that you should let them continue along into the other side of the form. A lot of students find that when they don't do this, even if their contour ellipses are great, they run into this problem where their contour curves end up being too shallow. Learning to accelerate their curvature of the line as it reaches the edge is important, and the overshooting method definitely helps. Ellipses misaligned. Similar to having your ellipses floating around, it's not necessarily easy to nail the alignment of your ellipses each and every time. It is, however, obvious when a student is making an attempt to achieve that goal and when a student is clearly not aware of that as a requirement. Each ellipse should be aligned to your spine line as its major axes, or in the case that it wasn't centered properly, where that spine line ought to have been. You want it to cut each ellipse into two equal symmetrical halves down its narrower dimension, just like we did in lesson 1's funnel exercise. Another mistake, not drawing through ellipses. As mentioned in lesson 1, every ellipse you draw for the lesson should apply this technique of drawing through the shape 2 full times before lifting your pen. This is meant to help you maintain a certain degree of confidence so as to keep things smooth and even. And now we have example homework. And when you're done, your pages should look something like this. 1 page of contour ellipses, 1 page of contour curves. I thought one of these was 2. Hold on a second. There might be... Maybe, hold on, where's... Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry. Ha. So it's just one of each. I misread that. Or misremembered. I was wrong. Take it however you like. So let's switch back over. These are the arrows from yesterday. Or not yesterday, but last week. So I'm going to put those away. I'm going to grab more paper. I still am using the same ream of paper that I started with for this, and that ream was not full when I got to it, so that just goes to show you should buy cheap paper. It'll last you a very long time. Where's my pen? I still haven't found my tape, so I haven't labeled my Drawabox pen yet, but just only keep one in here, and that might do the trick. Okay. So, let me lift up my chair. So we're going to start with, I guess, the ones with the full ellipses. I feel like that might be easier. So I'm going to just warm some up. What is hi there Obi-Wan style meant to mean? Been a minute since I've had to do a lot of ellipses, so I'm going to do some practice. Oh, okay. I'm not with it on the memes. Alright, that's good enough. So, just gonna make some sausage. Let's kind of make like a medium sausage. That's not bad. Thank you. I've gotten nearly all of them at the thrift store because that's what I do for fun. So if we're gonna go down the middle. That's pretty middle. Oh yeah, this stain on my hand is from lip gloss. So I'm not burnt or anything. Okay, so, and we're going to change the direction as we go. So one end has to be like facing us end. Oh, look. I'm over here trying to manifest spring via nail art, and you're dissing my efforts to bring good weather. Some people just don't appreciate. I actually never had yellow before, so I thought I would try it. And I'm probably going to go back to like just getting black. Okay, so I'm looking at the homework. I should really figure out a way to have the desktop display be like a tiny window. I'll do that eventually. But okay, so I'm looking at the pictures, and so we need to have like an amount of them. So I'm going to start from the bottom and then go up. And then as I go up, the ellipses will get bigger. Yes. Okay. Let's just do this. You're going to try and center them. And they also need to be snug. So there's a lot of things I got to try and do. And I got to use my shoulder. Oh, okay. This isn't going well. And then we're going to try and make this narrower because I don't know. Oh, that didn't go well either. I don't know if this was a super successful sausage. Like yellow claws. I'm like corn on the cob Wolverine. Where's Sven when you need him? Every time he sees my hands, he goes, "How do you poop?" Let's make another sausage. Well, that one got weird. Okay, well, that's fine. So the circles, like the super round ones are actually, this should actually be closer to down here. So we're gonna have to ignore this. I didn't do a good job. Okay, so we're gonna make you like this. And then, so in the middle it should be, I guess, narrower or closer to 0 and then widen out again. We'll try. I can't tell if this is right. My website? I don't have a website. Do you mean the Drawabox website? Because I know my videos are linked to on the because the videos are linked in the Drawbox website, the ones I've done at least. But I'm not Drawbox. That's uncomfortable. I can show you the YouTube channel for that real quick. That might be helpful. Because there's some better audio recordings. At least a better voiceover than what I can do. There we go. You can use that too. Let's just make more sausages. If it makes you feel better, I'm 27 and just starting art school, so there's that. Yeah, it's never too late to learn a new skill. It's good for the brain. At least that's what they say. Wider, wider, narrow, wider, wider. I'm not. This feels tricky. Like you're just trying to absorb all this information. Oops. Oh, come on. I don't eat sausage actually, so I couldn't tell you. Oops. Oh. think I'm getting it. I think I'm making like a magic circle around this one sausage. Like a sausagey Stonehenge. I'm just gonna go ahead and complete the circle of sausage. Some of these didn't end up centered, so just doing my best. That magic sausage circle. Spinning this around. Oh, that's sick. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's a page of sausages. Okay. I think I did a good job. I think Comfy's busy at work right now, so he can't really come in and tell me like he usually does. Oh, Jesus. Where's my microphone? There it is. Found it. Take a little break. uh, sorry, I was looking at internet articles. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I think despite the fact that I'm rusty, my ellipses aren't that bad. I did a few that were like really good. So let's get on to the next set of sausages, which involves the lines only hooking around a little bit. Like this image here. So we'll see what we can do about that. And they're still doing the same thing where their degrees are changing, it looks like. It's just a little bit odd. I'm not sure. We'll just go. It's going to be such a long time until we actually get to the next critique. Let me think. I might be able to get him to make comments later on. I don't know how helpful it'll be, though. I have the luxury of just asking him whenever I feel like. But it's not something everybody can do. Although you can always go onto like the Discord or the community website, and if you're having trouble with your homework, you can go there and ask. There's plenty of people who want to help. You're just supposed to keep going though. You're just supposed to keep going and not try and dwell on it too much. So let's make another sausage. I'm gonna make one right in the middle. I'm gonna make like a happy sausage. Happy little sausage. This did not turn out super great. It does look very happy though. So we're gonna try and stay in the middle the whole time. Oh God, this is disturbing. Okay, so now we have to make these weird little lines. Alright, I'm going to make a circle at this end, and then we're going to go through and make the little line. So we make a little circle. And we need to make it in the actual center, not necessarily the center line that I drew, because the line is a little inaccurate. So there we go, baby ellipse. And now the lines have to travel up. And they're definitely doing something. Alright, let's just think about this. I'm just gonna spin the paper while I'm thinking. Ooh, look at that. Oh. I started thinking at the end of that one. That's not a good thing. That's all right. I'm gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going. I don't need to make an excuse for every line I draw. It'd take forever if I did it that way. All right, that is a scary cartoon mouse. I think I'm doing it right. Okay. I have a bad shoulder, so I have to frequently pause and make sure I'm sitting correctly and moving correctly. So the center is actually here. I just got this little pinchy part mixed up. Okay. Ooh, that's too loud. Turn yourself down, girl. There we go. Okay. More sausages. Okay, I was just checking to make sure my audio is still doing what it's supposed to. Okay. This little baby sausage is not working out well. Ah. Ah. Damn it. This is not going well. This sausage is a disaster. All right, one more. Dang it. Okay, well that's the sausages. Yep, those are sausages. Oh, thumbnail image. This isn't actually. I don't usually take them from the stream anymore because the little raccoon gets in the way. But I think I can actually just arrange for that right now. Okay, so we got through the sausages. That only took an hour between the reading and the doing. So that's pretty good.